So for her, writing was a form of achieving the kind of democratic, well-governed country that she always wanted. She refused to accept a Malta where people had to write like that, anonymously, out of fear of violent reprisals. My mother, Dafni, Caruana, Galizia, was a journalist in Malta, and over her 30-year career she reported on corruption in its various forms. In the last 5 years of her life, she began reporting with a really sharp focus on political corruption coming from the office of the Prime Minister. She uncovered a number of shell companies, two of which were owned by the then Prime Minister's Chief of Staff and another by the then Energy Minister. Journalists who carried on reporting her stories on corruption found that that third company was owned by the man who is now charged with commissioning her murder. And that discovery really was a turning point. So since then, we've had a change in government, widespread protests, this really encouraging growth in civil society, and a number of criminal proceedings which have uncovered even more corruption. The incredibly corrupt government she investigated collapsed. There are a number of judicial inquiries based on things she uncovered as a journalist. A public inquiry has uncovered or revealed that during the last 5 years of her life, the country was totally under the control of organized crime. And we've now started this process, which will be long and painful and difficult, of reform. So there have already been a number of constitutional reforms, for example, in the way the police force is managed, in the way the judiciary works. So the country is changing. I wasn't a journalist before her murder, I became one after. It shaped the stories I'm interested in reporting on, so corruption, human rights abuses, abuses of power. Everything I do is because of her. And there's no point in pretending otherwise. So the stories, the way I do them, why I do them,